Hello, truth seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, reference to wake up to the truth of who you are is simple and straightforward. It's about turning the awareness back to yourself, dismantling your mind until no mind is left, and asking yourself, who am I? That's all you need to do, whether you believe it or not. The reference is simple. Definitely, when you start to walk on this path and when you have to work on your fear, yes, you'll go through the emotional fluctuation, mental fluctuation. And if you stay open to investigate your fear and why you fluctuate with the fear, then that becomes the opportunity to understand your fear and to dissolve your fear for good if you stay open. But when you realize your fear and you give up the process, then that's the end of the inward journey. And then you'll back in the mundane flow. Your action is happening from the place of fear, and it will continue to unfold like that. And you will miss the opportunity to see the truth of who you are. So, when you're walking inward, when you realize the fear, and working on the fear is a chance to wake up to the truth. Giving up the path is to stay back in the same realm of conflict and fear. Now, the reference is simple, and some of you may have doubt or don't resonate with this simplicity. And if you don't resonate with the simplicity, then I want you to ask yourself, why am I having a hard time to resonate with this reference? You ask yourself, why am I having a tough time to resonate with the reference that I'm hearing? And let me give you the example why you're having a hard time. You have collected lots of ideas, lots of practices, and from the ideas and practices, you have collected lots of experiences in the name of spirituality. And from that you have expanded your mind so much with further ideas. And when your mind is so big with ideas, when you hear the simple reference, you will naturally discard it. Your ego actually discards it. Basically, your ego is you right now. When the truth is missing, when you don't know who you are, when you haven't seen who you are an ego self. And your ego self discards the simplicity. Why the ego discards the simplicity? Because the ego is about advancing. Ego is about the upgrade. Ego is about the refinement. It's the growth. When you hear the reference to wake up to the truth of who you are is simple, naturally, it's going to overlook the simplicity. That's the reason. So, if you have tried everything and nothing is working so far, and if you have realized that nothing is working so far, there's nothing more to lose in you to try this simple approach. And if you try it, you'll surprise it. Once you start to trace your mind backward, that will already inspire you to see the layers of the mind webbed together. That becomes inspiration. Right now, the highest meaning you have in you as a spiritual seeker is, I am consciousness. But look, when you recognize I am the truth I am the consciousness, that concept doesn't do anything, isn't it? That concept doesn't dissolve your fear in your life, doesn't dissolve the struggle that you go through in life. And that's the bitter truth. To make that concept a reality, to reclaim who you are, you gotta work. You gotta work because life is already conditioned. Everyone is conditioned. The body is conditioned, the mind is conditioned, and from there, then there's emotional conditioning and psychological conditioning is already there. Because of the conditioning, we need to work to reverse the mind. Dismantling the mind is reversing the mind. Reversing the mind is discarding the mind to see what is left when we discard the mind. Is the real you, is the plain sight, the consciousness itself. To see the consciousness, to see the nature of the consciousness, we have to participate. Freedom is not idea. Consciousness is not idea. Truth is not an idea. Or God is not an idea. So we must do our part to make ourselves free. So I mentioned many times in my previous video that you don't need special knowledge to be part of the inward journey. You don't need to be in the special place to be part of the journey. And you don't need to meet a special person to be part of this journey. You, yourself, is enough to start the journey, to end the journey, and to live your life without the conflict. You, yourself, is enough. You just have to be interested, and you have to reorient yourself with the right reference and right work. And that is dismantling. So, here's an example, okay? Every moment is a moment that we can use to figure out the truth of who we are. Now, here's an example. We have to be part of the world, okay? And when we are being part of the world, people say things about you and things about what you do. And vice versa. You also do the same thing towards the world, towards the people, right? It's both ways. Now, when people say things about you and what you do, most of the time, you take it personally, isn't it? Especially when someone says in a negative way, there's a battle. You take it personally. And when you take it personally, notice how the story starts to narrate in you. You start to narrate the story in your head. And if you're narrating the story in your head, that identifies that you have identified yourself with something. And when someone is poking the bubble that you are living in, it's easy to get defensive, easy to get take things personally. And also, when you are involving in this drama, that is also the sign that Again, comes down to you don't know who you are. Now, instead of creating the stories in your head and getting lost in the mental drama, emotional drama, I want you to stop narrating and ask yourself this question. Why am I taking things personally? Why? Allow this why to be the background to talk to yourself, not to talk with the world, but to talk with yourself. Let the question, why do I take things personally? You are taking things personally, and ask yourself, why am I taking things personally? When you ask why, that should be the reason. You are affected by the words that coming towards you. You are getting affected. It's already there. So investigate why do you get fluctuated by the words? But before that, why do I take things personally? To be free from the drama of the world, to free from the drama of our own head, questioning is a simple way to make ourselves free. We don't question ourselves much. We question about the world a lot, but we don't question ourselves. We think we are doing it right. We think everything we do is right. Because of that, we don't question ourselves. But once you start to question and work on the self-inquiry, it's an opportunity for you to figure out the truth of who you are. So, question yourself. Don't be lazy in questioning yourself. Don't be lazy. If you want a conflict-free life, if you want to live a life without the fear, you must question. Question in a way to see the answers and to dissolve the answers and to dissolve the questions and the questioner as well. Because the enlightenment journey is about dissolving all the answers, all the questions, including the questioner who is questioning. That means you must have to dissolve in the process. Okay? Why? Because the truth of who you are is not the mind, not the ideas. Questions and answer is all ideas. And truth of who you are is not an idea. So to go to no idea, you have to trace the mind backward. And when I ask you to question, why do I take things personally? That is a simple way to trace the mind backward. If you keep tracing back your idea backward, whatever idea comes in, use that idea to question yourself. Why is that important? Or why is that in me? You keep tracing back, and that's how you go to no mind. Okay, that is the preparation to see the truth of who you are. Look, you have been part of the spiritual practice for long enough, most of you. And after even decades and decades of spiritual practice, if you are not there yet, and if you want to make it happen this year, if you have established the foundation in the spiritual practice, which is about being aware of yourself, if you have done that part, this is the year you can wake up to the truth of who you are. So, You just have to reorient yourself towards a right reference and working with that right reference, and you'll get there. Okay? So, again, the reference is turning the awareness back to yourself. Trace the mind backward until no mind is left, and ask yourself, who am I? That's it. I hope this video inspires you to stay on the path of dismantling and do the work. Do the work. Okay? I hope, again, this video makes sense. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care for now. Bye.